Hello everyone, welcome back to Rollway Cottage Studio. This is Karen and I haven't been down into my room I don't think for a week, which is tragic. It's just been so busy at work and then I worked on the weekend and then this week has just got away from me. So I am finally here, so I'm just going to give that a shake because I emptied some things on top. Finally here to catch up with the prompt number 12, I think it was, for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 8, which is Lacy bits. So I've had a very quick look through my box of treasures, and these are the ones that I have pulled out. So let's have a look and see what I have, see what I want to use. I might just fold myself up so we can see a bit better. Do I have that pure lace in there? Let me just get my quilt out of the way so we can see what I have. So this is what I've had to dig around for. I found these little bits. Now these were given to me by my cousin Jo. Hi Jo and Lil. And they are something to do with her mother's, my auntie Norma's dress that she made for something or other a long time ago. So that, they are gorgeous and they're old and I love them. So they are definitely going to go on somewhere. I have this bit from the same source, this bit of beautiful lace. I'm going to call it lace, it's probably not lace, which was actually from a tester over an old wrought iron baby's bed. So I have that. There's only 1 or 2 pieces left of that, so I'm going to count that as lacy bits. And then let's have a look at the random bits of stuff that I've come across over the years. I do have this bit of brown lace. I just don't know if it's special enough. I might have to do something with it, like create something with it. And then I have some beautiful old laces. So these are just a little bit that I've picked up around the traps. I think I got both of these ones at the Namble Collectorama a few years ago. So these are lovely. They've got a lovely age to them, lovely colouring. They're not too dark. So there's this one which has the lovely scallop sort of bottom, and then this beauty which is fine, but again a lovely colour. So I don't know where they originated, but they live in my little suitcase now. And I have this little guy, which is quite cute. He's very fine, and he's lovely in age, so I'm going to find a home for him. And then I found this little guy. How much was he? $2. I have no idea where I got him. He's so old that his elastic band has actually just collapsed. Look at that. Just sweep that onto the floor, give it a shake. And yeah, he's gorgeous. Look at that. So that's got a really lovely pattern through it, and it's a slightly different colour than the other ones to give me a bit of variation. This little guy, no idea where that came from. And then I have this, and I'm going to call it lace. I don't know if it's lace, crochet lace. And I think it's some sort of like a shelf edging, but it's gorgeous, so I'm definitely going to find a home for that. And then this, I'm going to call that a trim. You don't get a go. So let's have a look at my quilt and see where we're going to go. So I'm going to pop them all in the middle on the blue bit. So it's Thursday night here in Bundaberg, week 2 of school back, and I've just been running since school went back, and that's good. That's how things are. So just starting to catch my breath a bit now to start getting back into some regular filming. So I feel good. I feel relaxed now that I'm here. And you know what? I've had a week or so away from this quilt, and I just come and pulled it off, and I just love it. I love everything about it. It's looking really, really good. I love my little birds that I've just put on. These were a gift from some fabrics from Karen, and they just look fabulous. There's lots of different things on here that mean a lot. The swans represent my grandmum. The ducks that we got in down in Sydney when Mum and I were down there. So anyway, I'll stop talking and let's do some stuff. I'm going to start with these because they're going to be really easy. Oh, there's a train. Seems that I always film when there's a train, so I'll just have a drink. So you are quite close. Let me just see, are we all the way out? Yes, you're all the way out. I might just lift you up a little bit, so hold tight just so you get a bit more of my quilt in your view. So the top of the quilt is, hang on, I'll just slit everything off the top, is just about there. That's where I am. So I'm going to work in thirds. So I'm going to work in this third to start with. My quilt does fit on the table widthwise here, so that's helpful. I'm going to find those bits of lace that I just lost, and think about where this is quite a solid element. So I'm looking at where I've got too much of something where I can just pop these on and, you know, mute things down a bit. And at the moment I'm looking over here where I have, gosh, I'm going to lose these, aren't I? There they are. Where I have my little rabbit. Let me just pull you over, sorry. Here, and this is one of the flags that's left from Menagerie. So I'm thinking that this would look great. Again, I don't want to lose the flag completely. Maybe even just, I don't want to lose my rabbit. Maybe even just kind of, again, I have left most of my elements kind of loosely stitched so I can, you know, tuck. So I don't mind that. And then obviously I would sew, you know, stick that underneath, you know, cut that so that it fits. Just checking whether I want the straight edge here or the straight edge along the top, bearing in mind that this is going to disappear with my Suffolk puff edging anyway, so it might be nicer to have the sticky out bit here, if you know what I mean, technical term. So I might just pin him there. Sorry, I forgot my pins, hold on. Go grab my pins. I've just pinned up on my design wall a repro quilt that Mum and I have made together. Well, we've made one each, we've made it together. And she tore the pages out of a magazine she picked up in an op shop down in Sydney, and it's a gorgeous old repro quilt that was a great bit of timing for me because it was a bit of machine work I could just fit in last week when I didn't have a lot of time and didn't have a lot of time to create, but wanted to just do a little bit of sewing. And so it's one of those things that's made up of lots of horrible individual parts and looks fabulous together. So I'm going to leave that like this. Can you see? I'm just going to zoom you in. Hold your horses. Zoom you in. See if you can see it. A bit. You can see that I have just left that loose because I'm going to cut so that it tucks under my hexagons there. Let me just stick another pin here. And that's good. That breaks up that solid edge but still gives me the blue which I want. So that was one piece of the kind of, is it pure lace it's called? Now where's the other bit? Here it is. So let me just pull myself back to here. And again, I'm in the top third. So given that I've put that bit in the top right corner over there, I'm just going to zoom back. I've put it over there in the top right corner. So I'm going to kind of put this down here somewhere, not in the same third. So I've only got two pieces. So I think that will work as long as I balance the whole thing out. Sorry. Whoa. Roll him up. So let's have a look down here. Isn't this gorgeous? I love this little page. I'd love to have got hold of that whole book, but I only got hold of one page online. Oh, hang on, this could work here. Just like that. Look at that. Because I don't want to lose my gingham, but also I don't want to, I want to see some of it, but maybe, you know, a bit boring as it is. So I might just, let's take it to the edge, to the limits, as the Eagles would say. Let's do that. Okay, and again, don't overthink it. I think you could spend hours and hours. So when I sew this, I'll do what I've done with all the other elements and kind of sew in so that I've got space to lift and tuck and do a bit of cosmetic surgery a bit later. Okay, that's two down. Two lacy bits, ladies, are on. Let's look at this magnificent thing. Isn't that stunning? I did tea dye. I'll show you some of this really dark ages ago because I used it for some project, I can't remember. And so this is the rest of it. It's just stunning. Look at that. I think I actually used a dye for this because I wanted it really dark. It's just stunning. And I mean, I may well use, and I love how when I tea dyed it, some of the couching, is it couch stuff? I don't know what the proper word is for this, because that's actually crocheted. It's a crocheted, like a chain, and then sewn on. It's stunning onto this mesh. So I may even use some of that along the bottom, hanging off here, but I'm going to come back to that. So I'm going to work with this to start with, because this is the last bit of the plain that I have. So I'm going to have to just find a home for all of these over here. I'm glad you can't see behind me. Let's just have a look where he might want to live. Again, you know what? I just think that might look gorgeous over here. Hang on, let me just tuck him on and then bring you back. So again, I've gone over to the right side, about just not quite halfway down. And I've got this beautiful sort of area here where the brown toile is to die for in the background, but it's, you know, it's not very textured, it's very plain. So I'm thinking that I might just go like that, something like that. Let's have a look here maybe. That might even be better. And again, I can adjust him in between. He doesn't have to be flat. You can just be crazy and make him not flat. So I might actually just trim some of the mesh off. Let's just pin him around his flower, if you know what I mean. So again, all my pins are going left to right, right to left, so that I can roll. So if I pin him there, that's 3 lacy bits. I'm going to call this lacy bit. What is the word for this? Does anyone know? I'm sure there's a word for this sort of work. It's absolutely stunning. And I wish I had the bed and the original thing. I would just have left it as it is. Whether or not my teenage sons would have liked sleeping in it is another matter. All right, so he's on there, and I can, you know, I can do a bit of a tuck here like that. So the edges, I can make them all fabulous and bumpy. So not really trimming, but tucking to make him fit. So that's great, love that. Roll them on out. Let's have a look. What do I have left? Then I've got just some lace itself. So let's have a look at this guy, which I've been waiting for somewhere to use him. This is all of it. This is all that I have. So let's have a look at my whole image. I'm just going to take a step back because it's quite a, it will make a very visible line whether you either go left, you know, horizontally or vertically. So you need to just take that into consideration. I can see two places, possibly 3 places. Let's try. So the first one is going to be, again, I'm just going to tuck and roll so you can join in the fun. Here is the first place that I saw. So obviously not as one big piece, but as a piece. Which is the right side, do you think? Is there a right side? Ignore that, my phone is ringing. No, don't like that at all. What if, and I've just left this bit here because I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet. So you can see that I've pinned this under here, this bit of lace. So I'm not sure what I want to do at the end, so I've just left myself an option by leaving it there. Right, so I didn't like that at all. So let's try it again. Going further over. Let's see. So I've got these 2 rows of the same trim, but one's tea-dyed and one's not. So I can either kind of give it a bit, see I quite like the bottom of this. I could tuck that to there and go, yep, I'm going to do that. Let me grab my scissors. Because I don't think this is a sort of lace, it won't work in just one big piece. I'm going to need a few bits. So let's just cut from there. And again, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Looks good. Let's do it. There's probably 10 places you could put it. Let's have a little look on there. And again, bearing in mind I'm going to be Suffolk puffing. Suffolk puffing is a new verb. My edge. So I like that. So now I need to think about where else to put that so it is not there on his little lonesome. Let's have a look. There we go. I love this quilt. It's so nice working with something that's a bit smaller. It feels very manageable. So that bit is probably right on the halfway mark, is it? Pretty much. Okay, so obviously I don't want to go on the halfway mark here. That would look terrible. So I'm going to think about doing 2 other pieces. The first piece I thought that might work was here, along here at the bottom, either overlapping or tucking under that. So let's see. And again, you can see I've sewn in here. So I've got the option to tuck. So that could either just kind of end there, or let's pull him over. See, again, this one's not pinned on. I quite like that. It's all the layers make it. I really like that. I'd quite like this blue, so I'm a bit crooked. Am I crooked? Well, to be on top. Let's see if I've actually left enough stitchery room. Oh, nearly. Let's just pretend I have. For that to be there. The blue to be on top. And then this to continue across here. Okay, I'm going to do that. So let's just see. At the moment, this finishes here. So deciding whether I want to just run it all the way behind. What does that look like? Let's zoom in on here. 1, 2. What do you think? See, I think that's lost a bit there because it's just too much of the same. So I'm happy to leave the blue. I like the blue better under there and leave that as it is. However, I think that you can start about, and I don't want to line anything up. So you don't want to line stuff up because your eye will be drawn automatically. So you either want to go there or kind of over here, you know. So let's see what it looks like there, if that was the case. So just imagine that I've tucked that under, and then that gives me an element to pop here, which is quite good, and then that's completely broken that line. So I'm going to do that, and in my mind there's something going to go here. Don't know what that is yet. I'm going to do that. That's 2 pieces on. And over where this runs into my gorgeous favourite ever fabric, this toile, I'm going to, am I just going to do that? Am I going to make it into a rose? Is it going to finish there into something like that? See that? That's nice, isn't it? I could actually make a rose out of this and finish that there, except I want to see my swan. Or do I want to do that at this end? So I feel like this needs a colour, something here, not more cream. So I'm actually just going to leave that as, I'm going to unpick this one stitch so I can tuck him up under. And there you. So he goes there, you go there, done. Let me pin everybody back down through 75 layers. Okay, can you see? Am I in screen? There we go. Sorry, I popped off. I got a bit excited and it fell off the bottom. So I'm going to go and have a look at how to make a rose. Just checking that I do want this underneath. Yes, I do. I really like this little edge. And I've got some of this here, so I don't lose that completely, and on the other side. So I'm going to pin this, and then I'm going to use the hangy off bit to do something here. And look, I might use a buckle to make a bow, or I might puff it all up and scrunch it all up and make a big sort of vintage looking rose out of it. So let's just pretend that I've done that and that I know how to do that, which I don't. So I'm going to go do some Googling. So let's just say we've gone, here's your gorgeous rose, tuck, 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 and I probably won't need this much of it, but it will sit there, something like that. So that's the idea, and I might just tuck it so that I don't lose my beautiful swan there. So something like that. What do you think? It won't be that big. It might be, you know, about that much. You know what? I'm actually just going to cut that like that and call it. So that's how much I've got for my rose. So how about I just, I'm hoping I can go find a tutorial somewhere to help me. You know, I might just gather it and kind of tack it till I like it. Something like that. I'm just going to stick a couple of pins in there so I remember what I have planned. Because, you know, menopause brain is a thing. And how have you been? I haven't posted for a week. I feel terrible. I've been desperately wanting to come down and play, but, you know, I think I left yesterday at, I don't know, 7:30. I think I got home at 7:45, you know, that's life. That's good. It's good that I have a job. So, not complaining. Let's put that back in there. Okay, so that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to spend a bit more time thinking about that. And then I have this piece left. So now I have a piece. Let's zoom it out again. I have a piece. This is at the bottom, nearly in the middle. And my other piece is nearly in the middle, which probably wasn't great planning up the side. But again, there will be other elements, you know, and that's the other thing. There are plenty more elements to come. I think we've only just had 13 released. So let's just, I have this bit left. So I've got one piece over here, one piece, where am I? That way in the middle, one piece that way in the middle. And so now I've zoomed back out again to the whole thing, and I'm going to aim to put this bit up in the top left quarter to give me a bit of balance, I think. So let me get rid of the world's biggest scissors, and let's pull myself down so that you can play along at home. Let's see. So the top of my quilt is just above those checkered thingies, whatever they're called up there, the clamshells. So this is what I have left. Now, both of my other pieces have been put this way down with the straight edge at the top and the scallop at the bottom. So, you know, I could do this one the other way. I don't think I like it that way though. Or what would be really good is to have a bit of vertical, or maybe I don't, maybe I just want another bit like this. I'm just going to give myself a little bit more to work with. What does it look like right up here? What does it look like if I just, yeah, see it's too dense, like I lose all my clamshells. I don't want to lose all my clamshells. It's not something you say a lot, is it? I don't want to. Let's see what I can do in the middle there. Again, rolling and folding to access my whole quilt. So this is kind of the middle top, which I'd have to check on the wall because, no, I don't like it anyway. The other bit is at the middle on the bottom. What if I just ran, and again, I don't need to use this whole piece, just use some of it across. See, I don't mind that. Sorry, hang on screen, there you are. Don't mind that, but again, I'm going to lose the top bit to soffit puffs, so let's just imagine we've tucked it down a little bit more so that it's, see, I like that little pretty little edge there, so let's do that, and then it could run across and just, yeah, let's do this. Oh, did I touch my screen yet? So let's just cut it here. And I don't like that this is a straight line, but you won't see it because of the soffit puffs. I like that this is covering it a little bit, but not a great deal. And again, this is just going to be one of those areas where I'm going to need something else. So that works for me so far. Oh, feels good just to be doing something creative. Okay, so I've got quite a bit of lacy bits on, but you know me, that's not enough, clearly. Oh, and I have this little bit just in case, so I'll tuck him away. Just in case I find that that's not working, I can, you know, add a bit of water and expand that bit back. So that looks gorgeous. The top bit, you know what, I think I need him here. I've just seen that bit over there. But look how gorgeous this is. Who wants to? Look, I've sanded this. Let's zoom you in and show you. See how I've sanded all of this, and it's all aged and dodgy and folded, and I just love it, so I'm not going to hide any of that. I might just make a bow. Do I want to make a bow like that? What do I have? I have a little buckle. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. This is a little basket of bits that I'm using for my vintage rabbit journal. Look at that, I've stitched all that on. Ready to make a brooch. Now I know I have some, I have that. That's what made me think of it. Some tulips that I made and then I didn't like. And then I have a couple of other little treasures in here. The blue buckle, gorgeous. No reds, thank you. Don't want any of those things. That's too shiny. That's too shiny. So let's just see what I've just pulled out. Let's get rid of those. So, isn't that gorgeous? See, that's lace. Is that lace? Look at that, that's already made. I made that for my journal. I might just nick it, actually. Let's just see what it looks like with this lace in it. This is just a vintage shoe buckle that I picked up somewhere or other. It's just rhinestones, and it's gorgeous. Actually, I do quite like that. My husband's making the kids' favourite tonight. He's making chicken nachos. He makes some mean chicken nachos. Let's have a look. I'm trying to pull that bit out so it's a bit more evenly pocket, but anyway, I'll play with that later. I don't know, I'm not feeling the glam. I don't think the glam is what I'm after. More the vintage, but that's not doing it for me either. I'll come back to that, I'll hold that thought. But in the meantime, do I want this bit anywhere? Do I want him just doing something here? Like that. I don't want to hide my beautiful blue willow. Which, that and the some of my absolute all-time favourite things on this quilt, I have to say. Some of the things that I've got out a few times and gone, oh no, not yet, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Let's just see how this looks if I just let it have a bit of space here. No. What does it look like? It's folded like it's under. I'm just pretending like I've cut it because I don't want to cut it just yet. What does it look like? Just tucked under, just to give this big expanse of white doily. Actually, I don't mind that. I'm going to pin it and think about it. So he'll be the last bit I sew on, but I'll probably put him back up on the wall first before I make such a massive decision in my life. Okay. So I think this needs to just be cut on an angle so it's not so square, and then it might work. That's okay, I'll come back to that. So I think that might be enough. What do you reckon? I haven't put any of the other bits of lace on, so let's just have a play and see if anything happens. Let's start with these that I don't have to get off a board. Because this is a different colour brown again, so you know I love a blue and brown as much as the next woman. Let me just zoom you out so you have a bit more quilt to see. And see, maybe one of these laces that are a lot more open and see-through, like this one, I'll just bring it out, will be nice for a long, just calm my clamshells down a bit. My clamshells are a bit loud at the moment. They're a bit new fabric blue for me. I do like them a lot, but they're very, very 2025 looking to fabric. So let's just see if I have, so I've got this one, which, you know, I have quite a bit of that sort of colour. Is that this? Is that the same? No. I have this one, which is kind of paler, and I'm just going to cut myself a piece. You should see what I've got going on behind here. I've got stuff everywhere. I can't even fit my scissors on the table. Oopsie daisy, sorry, I just dropped my water bottle. So let's cut that and move it off the table. Just see how I might like to use you. Again, I'm very conscious of straight lines. I do have a lot of curves, so I do need some lines to balance it, but I don't want all of one element, like all of my lace to be straight, for example. So I do wonder, again, I know that I have Suffolk Puff City coming, but if I could just do something just inside so you'll see it with the Suffolk Puffs. I'm going to lose the shape of those, aren't I, anyway? Don't have to. I could sew another piece across the top so that I have, I can see those clamshells. But let's just play for a minute Just imagine that's a mitered corner. That looks better than that. And maybe even pleated. Let's do a pleat because I've got lots of ruffles, lots of gathers. What does it look like if it's pleated? Let's just try. I always have to go a couple of ways to pleat. Let's just try with a couple of pins. Actually, I'll need to start this way, won't I, so that it doesn't disappear all my length of lace. Gosh, I'm having trouble speaking tonight, sorry. Just excited to be doing some slow stitching, trying to squeeze it in before dinner. Let's see, what are you thinking? I'll do the top and then we will have a moment and reflect. Oh, how have you been? What's happening? Is anyone keeping up? Lots of people are keeping up actually with the prompts. We're up to 13, so this is, I'm one behind. This is 12, and the next one was script. And like I said, I'm actually going to embroider all of the prompts all over this at the end. So, but I'm not ready to do that yet because I don't want to do that until all of the everything's on, because I want it to be seen. So I'm going to have to, I don't know if I've got any script fabric. I'll have to have a dig. But one thing at a time. Let's do this one first. Okay, so that's pleated across the top, and then thinking about how I would end that lace, whether I would actually cut it on an angle or give it a little forky thing at the end, or just fold it so it just kind of stopped doing that. Let's do that because that looks a bit more natural, less contrived. I probably haven't left enough lace here, but that's all right. Let's just give it a play. So if that is mitered, it needs to be folded up and around like that. So just imagine that is tucked under there. Lots of imagining going on under there like that. Let me just pin that in place. And then let's do a couple of, this one's much shorter, but that's right, you don't want them the same length, that would look terrible. Yeah. And this is all about adding texture and interest. You know, adding different finishes, different layers. Okay, what do you think? Actually, I don't mind that. Again, let's get a Suffolk puff or two and just see what that's going to look like. And get my lunchbox of Suffolk puffs out. And again, they're not the right colours, but just to get the kind of size. And you know, you can just see what space they're going to take up. So my Suffolk puff border is going to be a very simple affair. The same, my quilt that's on display at the Brisbane Craft and Quilt Show actually is completely bound in Suffolk puffs, and I just love it. It's one of my favourite things I've ever done, so I'm excited to do it again here. So this is how this will look. I haven't started making my Suffolk puffs for this border yet because I'm not sure what I want, whether I want all one colour or whether I want a really contrasting fabric, like a different colour, God forbid, or whether I actually want to use all vintage textiles, or whether, yes, anyway, that's all still very much up in the air. But this gives you an idea. So it's going to be bound just like that, not with these colours. So I actually don't mind that. I probably would pull it in a little bit more, perhaps, or maybe not, because then I can still tuck something under it. So I think I'm going to leave that as it is. I think that's okay. What do you think? Have a look. Let's zoom you in again. Can you see the lace? It's very hard to see because it's all the same sort of colours, but it's pleated going that way and that way. Yeah, I quite like that. So that's good, and it's not flat. It's something different to how the rest of the lace is. Let me just get rid of my little lunchbox. Put it in my pile of rubbish behind me. So let's have a look. Do I want any more lace, or am I all laced out? Gosh, the trains are running tonight. So let's just be, yeah, actually I like that. When I've zoomed out, that's really good because that corner now has just been calmed down a bit from its blow, which was very loud and very, very new looking. So that's good, that's aged that down for me. And these are the bits I've got left in my hot little hand. Just love this. Love it, love it, love it. Love the brown, love these doilies. Here, I'm over here, look, love these, love these. Look how gorgeous these are. Just stunning. So, I've got a bit of lace here. Let's have it. Oh, there's some script, look. That came from Karen, I just remembered. Look at me go. I feel like I've got some big blobs of blue where everything else, but you know, you've got to have somewhere to rest your eyes a little bit. I've got this bit which is fine because it's textured with the quilting. I have, where are we up to? 35 minutes. I have this bit in the middle, which is my centerpiece, which is an old random quilt block. No idea what DEC stands for. I got that from Lisa Maddock at one of the quilt shows. So something she's foraged somewhere with her foraging things. And then I have this blue bit, which is my, let's zoom you out a bit more, sorry, which is my flag. So again, I don't want to lose the flag. It needs to be, you know, broken a little bit. So I quite like that it's there and you can see the squareness of it and the funny little corner that's cut off. I just wonder if we can. Do we want to do anything like that? I don't think so. I already have a layer of this lace, then the ticking, and then some of this beautiful, that's the edge of a doily underneath. Now, did I deliberately sew that on there? I don't think I did. I think that's caught. How did I catch that? Anyway, I'll have to sort that out. Let's see if I can do that while I'm here. Caught my little shell. I don't think that I deliberately tucked him up. Anyway, I quite like it actually. I might just leave it. Look at that. I might sew him so he hangs like that. There you go. Make lemonade when you get lemons. So I've got this bit. I guess if I think about my whole quilt, I've put something in the top left. I've put something in the top right, the pure lace. I put some stuff in the middle over here. I put this in the middle, and I put stuff in the bottom left. So let's go bottom right. Let's just try and, even though I'm not looking at the whole thing on the wall, let's just try and be a bit strategic in our. Now I have my ducks. Oops, hang on, let's push it back a bit. And then I have this gorgeous, look at that, I tea-dyed it and I love it. And again, this edging here, I've left just under because I think I will do my Suffolk puffs underneath it here, just to make the edging more, you know, interesting, not all just, you know, boring. So I've got all of this to work on. So this is where I'm going to put some more lace, I think. I love that it's got the marks from the rubber bands. So let's have a look. Am I just going to follow that line and create another little layer of duckiness? What am I going to? Again, everything's liftable. I wonder if I could do something to make this into like a posy. I'm just going to play. Let's tuck and see. So I've got a lot going on in my little room at the moment. I'm working on this. I don't like that at all. I'm putting together the repo quilt. I'm working on a quilt as you go nautical, using all the stuff left over from Nautica themed quilt just to use up all those beautiful fabrics. And that will be my new classroom quilt for next year. And then I have got my Rabbit Vintage Stitches journal on the go, which I love. And I'm just making a bow to see if I like it. And then I have my ABC book on the go. And then I've got an idea for a new project I really want to start. But I'm going to make myself finish one of the big quilts first. Because otherwise I just kind of work in circles. So I have a bow. Don't mind that. mind that at all. I might just pin that there. I don't think I want it on the rose. I think that looks a bit naff. Random. Let's go with random over here. Geez, I'm nearly out of pins. What's going on? So that is what I am doing for Lacy Bits. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Thank you to all my new subscribers. It's really exciting to see everybody popping in, and lots of people are giving me some helpful advice about the pencils that I've been learning to use, so Inktense pencils. I've got lots of really good advice, and I hope that you guys hang around. It's exciting to have some creative back and forth. It's really nice, and I think when you live regionally, I think I've said this before, but you know, there's not a lot of people around who slow stitch. You know, there's a quilters group here, but they're lovely ladies, but they don't slow stitch. So it's really nice to be able to come online and find a community of beautiful, open, supportive people. So thank you so much for watching my video and liking and subscribing and doing all those things. So I do really appreciate it. And as I said, this week we'll be back into some more regular programming. That's what I've done with him. I actually quite like that. I might need to put that way though. I think that looked like it was a bit windy, didn't it? There we go. So my goal is to get these stitched down. What day is it? It's Wednesday. Oh, did I say it was Thursday before? Oh, it's Wednesday. God. It's Wednesday night. If I can get these stitched down for Thursday night, and then Friday night I can start the next prompt, which was script, which unbeknownst to me, I'd already made a crack on with a piece of fabric that Karen sent me. And I'm just going to share. I've just went over to Mum's, and as I do when I go over to Mum's, I usually come away with a bag of something. And this is a small part. Let me show you what she's given me. So she's had to clean out of her sewing room, which always goes very well. Let me just zoom in a bit. So these are some of the bits that she gave me. Have a look. Look at that. That is going to go straight onto this quilt. So Sarah and Rachel, can you please do a prompt for pillars or vines, because you know that's going on. Some beautiful French general bits. Look at this beautiful chartreusey kind of toile, which I love. Oh, brown, see, look, brown and green. Now this is one of my all-time favorites, and I literally got down to, I've got one of these leaves left, and Mum has just donated this to the cause. God, I love that. So some of that will be going in my Rabbit Stitches journal for sure. Favoritist things ever. This beautiful blue vintage toile, look at that. So there's a bit of sheep action going on at the moment. There seems to be sheep everywhere. Is there a sheep on here? My Mum found a piece of fabric she forgot she had that's so beautiful she's going to build a quilt around it, so that's always a win. This one, oh my God, look at that. All of these beautiful old fabrics. This bit of green toile. Gorgeous. This, which I actually have never seen before. I don't know what that is, but it's beautiful. Almost could fit into the quilt I'm doing now because it's that really different sort of indigo blue. This bit of beautiful Lucello. There they are. I was going to say, where's the kids? There they are. Sorry, I'll come up where I can see you. This bit, I think this feels like Lucello as well. You can tell, can't you? It has a beautiful feel. And look, oh, another pillar. Ladies, let's do a pillar. Got 2 pillars ready to go. God, isn't that stunning? Just stunning. And then here, have pillar will travel. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You know, my youngest son went on a holiday to New Zealand with his beautiful girlfriend and their family. And when he came back, he'd just gotten a tattoo. So he came to show me. And, of course, he completely manipulated me because my dad died earlier this year. And my dad was a Vietnam veteran. And with all the things that go along with that, you know, he had a pretty tough ride of it. And so my son Clancy got a tattoo of a pillar on his back, and it's all cracked. And he said he got it for Poppy because it's broken, but it's still strong. So, of course, I couldn't say anything then because how beautiful is that? Some more of that. Some beautiful sort of teal bits of toile. Thanks, Mum. This little bit, which I can't use that side because it's too gold, but I'll use that side. Beautiful piece of that. Bit of chinoiserie. Oh, look, another sheep. That's gorgeous. Green and white. Ooh, I seem to be gathering greens in a corner too, so look out. I think there's something green coming. Oh, look, another sheep, or is it a pig? That's gorgeous. Oh, that would look great right up the side, wouldn't it? I'm going to keep that out for this quilt as well. This fabric has a giraffe on it, which I love. I've got that somewhere. This, again, this beautiful. I don't like purple, but I love purple toile. And I think it's the etching and the cross-hatching. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? That's a Ewa. I can't wait to go to Japan and actually go to somewhere and hopefully go and see the Ewa toiles because they're just beautiful. This is beautiful. This is a bit of voile that comes from Lucello, which I love. This little cute guy. Random feathers. That's random, Mum. Very cute. This is her last bit of Kindred Spirits, I believe, to use. I'll use some of that. I got some keys. Oh, that's nice. That's beautiful little bird. Him, and last but not least, this little guy. So there are a few treasures I get to play with. Thank you so much for popping in. I'm going to go and sew all those lacy bits onto my Gathered Things quilt, and I'll see you again soon, hopefully on Friday night when I can make a start onto script. So I'm so grateful for you being here. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.